Chinese education in general focuses too much on rote learning. Going to school shouldn't be, perhaps isn't, the only way to be successful. Yes, yes.
要不要你刚到宁波来，就是说你有哪些东西和你想象的完全不一样
Because I came here as an international student, so my university looked after me. And it wasn't my first time in China either. I'd studied abroad in Hong Kong for a year. I'd studied abroad in Tianjin, and I'd travelled quite a lot inside China. I've been to maybe 50 cities in China. So I wasn't a stranger to living in China. And I think that if you come as an international student, you come to a very international environment that's quite comfortable for foreigners. Because I'm a vegetarian, it's sometimes difficult to easily, quickly find food that suits me. So actually, often when I go travelling, I just kind of ignore my stomach. But when my parents came, I kind of have to look after them a bit. I really made an effort to find some typical cuisine from different parts of China.
你在中国人来讲的话，你很孝顺。我们的慈诚也是因为一个儿子很孝顺的。
这 mean filial piety.
慈孝。
慈孝就是这个慈。This is like the guy who cut off his own leg to feed his parents.
Yeah, something like that.
他的妈妈感冒了。所以他给他的妈妈他自己的肉。
中国的一个故事。
是的，是的。
就是那个割肉饲母的那个故事。
Yeah, I think I don't want to say that Britain doesn't have this tradition, but I think in China it's more codified. It's more formal, maybe. Of course, you know, everybody around the world loves their parents, but we show it in different ways.
你去过寺庙？
是的，是的，我去过很多的寺庙。
你喜欢中国的一些寺庙的这种氛围吗？
Well, I'm not a Buddhist, but I think that seeing Chinese temples is something that I can't see in my country. I like to see something a little bit different. You know, to you perhaps a temple is kind of boring. You've seen lots of them already. But for me, seeing a Chinese temple is kind of exotic. I haven't lost the sense of wonder that I had when I first arrived in China. 我的国家的人也觉得就是很漂亮，很有意思，所以我要拍很多的照片和给我的父母。
无论是寺庙啊，还有那个月湖上所有的那些小亭子啊，上面都有很多对联。
对联 ，you know what is 对联
No.
It's part of Chinese poem. So it's you see one side,
Right.
and then with another side, but it must be equal. Only 2 sentences.
Right. 我觉得这是 couplet.
Couplet.
Yeah, 2 sentences poem.
你喜欢中国诗词吗？
我比较喜欢。I spent a lot of time translating famous Chinese poems.
给我们举个例子，你知道中国哪些诗词？你知道哪些中国的诗人
？OK， 这是李白的《书道》。我跟我的爸爸妈妈从成都到西安坐火车。我告诉我的爸爸妈妈了，古代的时候，如果你要去四川，就是很难，因为有这么多的山。Alas, how perilous, how terrible and high. The road to Shu is harder than a climb into the sky. Since the days of Tan and Yu, a misty land it's been. For 47,000 years, no other soul was seen. Yes, yes, yes.
What?
I translated Du Fu's 是诸葛亮的寺庙的诗歌。
武侯祠，这是杜甫去咏颂武侯祠的一首诗。
是的，是的。Where to find the shrine of the minister of Shu? In the city of silk, a stand of cypress grew. In vain on the steps, grass grows green in the spring, and alone in the trees, golden orioles sing. 3 times the king came to keep the kingdom whole. To 2 generations he gave his heart and soul. To die on campaign, his victory unclear, how could heroes not wet their sleeves with tears?
很多中文诗翻译成英文，它就失去了原来的意
Yeah.
思。那刚才杜甫那首诗呢，也是翻译成英文，依然保留了原来的英文，甚至可能还比中文诗更能表达那种意境。
I want to do something that people in other countries will appreciate. I think it's possible to do a translation that is more precise and more faithful, but it doesn't convey the quality of the original.
你可以把它交给你的学生。
我觉得我的学生要更有用的英文。This is too academic for them, I think.
中华民族的祖先给我们留下了很多东西，我们也非常喜欢。因为这是我们取之不尽、用之不完的一些文化产品。
I think Chinese people tend to be proud of their history, but I'm not sure how interested they are sometimes.
我觉得传统的东西经常是很好的。我觉得古代的人是很聪明的，但是可能英国人太喜欢古代的东西。我觉得很多的中国人觉得新的东西是更好的东西。英国没有这个看法，不喜欢新的东西，不喜欢新的事情。
也许你刚才一句话说的对，传统的东西，肯定是好，要不然它不可能成为传统。它有它的智慧，它会把一些东西生存的一些好的东西全部留下。
I think modern things are often made to last a short time and make a profit. Modern things, I think, are often not as sustainable as old things, not as reliable as old things.
前面你已经讲过了，你很不喜欢那个中国的考试。
Should I? I think it's extremely difficult. I think that exams in my country are important, but they're not the only way to become successful. I think that certain people have talents that can't be measured with an exam, or have a kind of latent talent that emerges later in life. It's not a good idea to categorize people in one single way relatively early in life.
你觉得现在一个孩子如果说不上学的话，他以后会有出路吗？
I think that going to school shouldn't be, and perhaps isn't, the only way to be successful. Of course, education is important, but I think there are some students who perhaps do their best learning or express their talents outside of the classroom, outside of the exam hall. I think sometimes in China, people despair if they don't have good exam grades. I think that's kind of a sad situation.
如果说在英国一个孩子没有经过大学教育，他以后会成功吗？或者是他会有一个稳定生活吗？
Very possibly, yes. I think the university education in my country, for starters, is very expensive. So even after you graduate university, you still have to pay your tuition fees, which could be a lot of money. You also have 3 years at least of missed earnings. So is going to university useful? Certainly, very useful for some people. And in my country, there are lots of other routes to be successful. So, for example, an apprenticeship. If you leave school at the age of 16 or the age of 18, you can get a job straight away or enter training and find success that way without the debt that you incur as a university student.
就是也不一定上大学。
Going to university is a good thing, don't get me wrong. I say that as somebody who went to university myself. I studied a master's degree and I teach at a university now. I wouldn't do all of those things if I didn't think a university education would be a good thing. But I don't think that people should be made to feel like failing at school means failing at life. It's so early. A life is such a long time.
你觉得就是说中国的教育有哪些是你觉得好的？
I like how my students are hardworking. I like how my university sets high expectations for them. I'd say there are things about the pedagogy that I see around me that I would maybe not always agree with. I think that Chinese education in general focuses too much on rote learning. Chinese teachers depend too much on textbooks, teach too much to tests, rely too much on homework and on morning and evening reading that I don't really see the point of. I like that education in my country gives students more free time to pursue their own academic interests and their own hobbies, their own social lives. I think it's possible that some aspects of Western education maybe don't fit circumstances in China. Chinese schools, kind of by necessity, have large class sizes, and I think that if you have 40 or 50 students in a class, then maybe that limits what a teacher can do.
你教的很多中国的孩子，你觉得现在的这些年轻人和英国的年轻人，他们有什么？
有什么不一样的事情吗？ We teach British students to question everything, and they really take that lesson to heart. I think it causes some problems for teachers, actually. British students are more likely to question why we're having classes, why you need to teach us. I feel like Chinese students in general have a better sense of respect. For Chinese students, they just kind of accept that you're their teacher and they need to have classes and they need to work hard.
For Chinese students, they don't like to respect you outside of class. Maybe they are too much under control in the class. So they want to say some kind of rebellion outside of the classroom.
I feel like British students will disrespect you to your face. If a Chinese student is secretly saying bad things about me, honestly, I'd prefer that to British students calling me names to my face. 我觉得英国的学生是更不礼貌的。
英国学生和中国学生的话，就是说他们有没有什么共同点？
I suppose a love of computer games, but I feel like Chinese students maybe crave computer games more. For British students, they also can't play on their phones during class, but class time is much shorter.
中国学生他可能上课从早上到晚，所以这一整个星期他们都不能用手机。这也就是为什么中国学生当他能有机会用手机的时候，他表现得更加疯狂、更加上瘾、更加沉迷。
在中国，因为你大部分的时候不可以用手机。Friday comes and some students are like, 我要我的手机。
Like summer.
Yeah. Like summer. 我需要用我的手机。
这个学生
用我的手机。
他的一个学生。
Yeah.
So.
英国没有这个情况，我觉得英国的学生有的时候喜欢手机游戏、电脑游戏，但是不是一个毒品，不是这么大的问题。
他就是说没有瘾，
没有这么沉上。
是的，没有这么多的瘾，我觉得。
所以说你在中国的话，地铁上你看所有人。
Yeah. I was thinking this, like on the metro, 在地铁上我可以看比较老的中国人。在英国就是比较奇怪的。